What is going on, everyone? Welcome to our Week 13 in the NFL episode of Hit the Books. Just me and Mackie here to start us out. Ace is going to be joining us in a little bit to get into our NFL segment, but we're going to start out in the world of college basketball. Like I said, just me and Mackie this week. Mackie, I'll hand things off over to you. How we doing? College basketball in full swing. Had about, I don't even know how many games today. That's my favorite part about college basketball is I never know how many games are on a slate. I just know it's a full slate, and we have three first ranked games tonight. So it looks like the best is still ahead of us tonight, but as we're recording this at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, UConn just lost, so already a big upset in the first couple of weeks. I know they're now 4-2, but how you feeling about college basketball? Obviously, we've been getting some plays out there where we started hot. We've had a couple of tough games go not our way, but college basketball is certainly in full swing right now with these invitationals, and we'll get into them after that.
Yeah, this is basically what we've been waiting for all year, I should say. Yeah, great day of college basketball. I think we've had a pretty good start to this season so far. Not the best, but it's hard to match what we did last year. I think we hit it like 70%. But hit San Diego State today. We have Clemson out right now. They're up 4 late. We have what else is going? We have Michigan State starting in a little, and there's a good game between Duke and Kansas tonight. So these tournament games are obviously a lot of fun between these cross-conference game
They're
teams.
so hard to call sometimes, though, too.
Yeah, they are. But this is where you really see the top teams when they're playing out of conference games, and home court
Mutual
really
site,
isn't
or however you call it.
a factor. But yeah, other than that, NFL's been good. Obviously, Cowboys got a nice unexpected win last week, even though they're out of it. It's nice to see them get a few wins on the board. But other than that, yeah, not much going on.
Yeah, so we'll step right into obviously the couple games that we're going to go into are already tonight. So by the time you're listening to these games will be over. You can kind of grade us and see how we went. We do have our first one at 8 p.m. Houston, the 6th ranked team in the nation, going up against the 9th ranked team in the nation, Alabama. Alabama is a 3.5-point dog now. It's dropped since 4.5. I got it at 4.5. So I am on Alabama over under 149.5. I can't read. Houston money line minus 185. Bama plus 155. You did kind of. I think you said you agreed with me on Bama there. I'm big on. Is it Mark Sears? I always want to call him
Mark
Marcus
Sears.
Sears.
Yeah, it's Mark Sears.
Yeah, I always want to say Marcus, but big on him. Big on this Alabama team. I think they're going to get back to where they kind of left off last year. I love what's the coach Oates. I'm like still getting back into like remembering all the names in college basketball. I think Nate Oates will have this team ready. This is a huge matchup, 6 versus 9. Houston, both teams have a loss already on the year. I look at Alabama to potentially win this thing outright. I took the 4.5 points. I think it'll be a close game. Is this the Vegas tournament?
Yes.
Players Era Festival
Yeah.
Impact Tournament. Where's this at? I don't think this is the
MGM
Vegas
Grand
one.
Garden Arena.
Okay. So it
Yeah.
is in Vegas.
It's in
Because
Vegas.
there's one called like the Terry's Chocolate fucking Vegas. Terry's Chocolate Vegas Showdown. That's the Kansas versus Duke game.
Yeah, I think it's the same tournament, just different venues. But
Okay.
yeah, this is gonna be a really good game. Houston plays really good perimeter defense all around, but team like Alabama, I mean, they put up 100 points in a win last week. Mark Sears didn't have 1 point. He's number 2 player in the country coming into the season. So this
If you
team,
look at that box, if you look at that score, not a box score, I'd guess he probably went off for 25.
yeah, you would think so, right? He had
Yeah.
0 points. They were still able to put up 100 points. This team's good, top to bottom. They can score inside the paint. They can score from the perimeter. So I expect this to be a really close game. I think Alabama, you're obviously going to take the points in this game, but Houston's no slouch either. So this should be a good one. But we definitely both lean on Alabama.
Yeah, the next game we got Kansas Duke, 1 versus 11. I continue to bet against Duke. It's not necessarily a good strategy, but I did take them in that game against Wofford. It was a fat spread. They won by like 50 something. So I gave them their respect there. Took Arizona against them. Arizona got obviously beat by the 14 points. We did call Kentucky over Duke early on in the season a couple weeks ago, or almost 2 weeks ago now. But going up against the number 1 team in the nation, they're favored in this one. Duke minus 3.5, over under 149. Is every total 149.5? I feel like everyone I'm looking at is. I'm not even gonna say totals anymore. We don't bet totals often. We kind of just pick the sides, but. Duke minus 170 on the money line. The number 1 team in the nation, Kansas, plus 145. Any faith in these Jayhawks and Hunter Dickinson to steal a win over Cooper Flag and the Blue Devils?
Yeah, I mean, anytime the number 1 seed or the number 1 team in the country is underdogs, you definitely raise an eyebrow here or there. But I mean, Cooper Flag is ridiculous. He's definitely he's all the hype. He's everything he was supposed to be. He's a top to bottom player. I know when they played Kentucky, he had a few turnovers late down the stretch, but that's like his first college basketball game ever. So he's getting it. He's getting his own and everything. But I do like Duke today. I think that they're better than 11th in the country. I think that Kansas also isn't the best team in the country, although Hunter Dickinson is definitely the most dominant player in the country in my opinion.
I was gonna say he's making a case to be possibly the best player in the country.
Yeah, I mean he's been there. He's been in college for what 5-6 years. So
how long was he at Michigan? 3 years, and then now he's been at Kansas for 2.
Two. Yeah, so it should be his 5th year.
Yeah,
but this is gonna be a really good game.
Dominating. Some of these kids are fucking 18 years old.
I know. Like you have 5 years and then probably 100 pounds on half of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I stayed away from this game. I didn't love a side, but I do lean on Duke.
We lean the exact same way. I as soon as I see Kansas at plus money, I'm literally like, they know something I don't know here. Sometimes you just gotta let Vegas tell you who's gonna win these games. Like these games where it's so close, mutual matchup. What's the word that I'm looking for? Like where they play
a site.
Yeah, mutual site. I couldn't think
mutual
of
matchup. Mutual site.
I kept not knowing what I wanted to say there, but mutual site for both of these teams. Obviously not in I think it's Allen Fieldhouse in Kansas or Cameron and Duke. This is where you're going to see how good Duke really is, I think, away from their home floor. I think Kansas will struggle at times. I like Flag. I like a lot of those pieces over there at Duke. I did stay away from this one because if Kansas ends up winning this game, I'm going to be so pissed I didn't take Kansas at the plus money. So I'd rather just stay away on that one. And watch that. That's going to be a hell of a game.
Better one to just sit back and watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And get a read for later on in the season. Iowa State, the 5th ranked team. I skipped this one. I didn't notice this. 5th ranked Iowa State playing Dayton in the Maui Invitational. Like we said, UConn just fell earlier to Colorado in this. Another big point spread, 9.5 points up against Dayton. Dayton's been pretty good to start the year. Dayton plus 400 on the money line. Iowa State minus 600. I lean on Iowa State, but I think it's a little bit too big of a spread for a mutual site.
Yeah, I do like Iowa State in this game. I didn't take them because I don't like the 9.5 points here. And Dayton's pesky. Dayton just lost it.
That's a great money line play. If you can find 2 others that you like
it's just a little steep. I think it's minus 600.
Yeah,
but
minus 600. But like if you get 3 of those that you truly love, that'd probably be sitting around plus even more.
I think Iowa State's top 3 team in the country. I think Auburn's just the best team in the country, and they ran into a juggernaut yesterday. They also let that one slip away from them. They had an 18-point lead. Auburn came back and won that game. Obviously, Johnny Broom's probably the best player in the country, or best guard in the country. But that was a what's the word I'm looking for? That was a heavy set matchup yesterday between Iowa State and Auburn.
2 top dogs. Two teams that are better than their rankings too. I think Iowa State's better than well, obviously they're sitting at 5.
I think they're top 3. I think them and Houston are going to run the Big 12, and that's definitely the best conference in college basketball.
Yeah, it is year in and year out.
Yeah, but that's going to be a good game. I like Iowa State to cover that, but I'm not.
Well, Kansas, you totally shoved Kansas out.
Wow, I did. I didn't even think about that, dude. Big 12 is so good for college basketball. Like they really, it's like the Big 10 this year in college football, which you don't usually see the Big 10 carrying college football, but they had 4 of the top 5 teams going into last week. So, yeah, Big 12 is just ridiculously competitive for college basketball.
You totally threw Kansas to the side.
I don't know why I didn't even think of them, but that's crazy. They have Houston, Iowa State, and Kansas, 3 of the top.
And like even isn't Baylor pretty decent this year? I haven't seen them play yet, but from what I've heard,
they're not like a top 10 team. I don't think
they're 4-2 right now. They're ranked 17th. Cincinnati, another Big 12 team, 5-0. Anyone else in there that I'm missing? No, Houston, Iowa State, and Kentucky or Kansas.
Texas Tech is usually really good too.
Yeah,
dude. There's never an easy game in the Big 12.
And then our last game, like you said, Johnny Broom and Auburn going up against R.J. Davis and UNC. What's the line here? If I can get it to pull up, UNC a 3.5 point dog. Plus 150 on the money line. Auburn minus 180. I leaned on Auburn in this game, but this is similar to that Kansas matchup. These are the kind of games I like to stay away from.
Yeah, I might take Auburn last second. I do really like Auburn. Like I said, I think that they can be the best team in the country, and they have the best guard in the country.
I hate that this game's at 11 o'clock. I want to watch it.
I know I'm going to watch it. You can't even watch it. It's in Maui.
Yeah. I like the Maui game, UConn. They started at what, 3 o'clock?
Yeah, that was the first game.
Yeah, so that's really what? That's like 10 a.m.
Probably like 9 a.m. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
6 hours behind. But yeah, it's gonna be another really good game. Two heavy-set teams. I think North Carolina's a little overrated, but obviously they're gonna be sitting at top or close to the top of the ACC this year. But yeah, another great matchup. The Maui Invitational is just incredible.
Who's the top teams in the ACC right now that you would say?
Duke,
Clemson, are they up
Duke,
there? Pitt?
UNC. I don't think Clemson's just there just yet. I think Pitt's there. I think that they had a tough loss to Wisconsin. Wisconsin only jumped to 15. They were 19. They jumped to 15. They're sitting at 7-0. But I
Pitt's
think that
25 now, right?
no, I don't think they're in it. I don't think
Oh, they
they're in
got
it.
in like the coaches poll or some
Is
bullshit.
that what it is?
Yeah, like the one. Yeah. If you look at the coaches poll, they're 25th.
Yeah. So Duke, North Carolina, getting back to basics with those top two teams. Miami was supposed to be good. They're shitting the bed. They had 3 straight losses in that tournament last week. Virginia, I think, is having a decent team this year. But yeah, Pitt's gonna be a top right there. Clemson will be right up there.
Pitt doesn't play like a real game until January, dude. I was looking at their schedule. Like all their non-conference games are kind of jokes.
Not really.
I know, their next game is against Ohio State. That's a tough
Wisconsin.
matchup, obviously.
Oh no, they just beat Wisconsin. Or they
Yeah,
just
well,
lost.
they also weren't scheduled Wisconsin, wasn't that? Because they won,
Right.
and you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
it
Like
was
that wasn't
championship.
technically on the schedule.
So they play Ohio
their
State and then Mississippi
SEC
State.
ACC matchup is Mississippi State. They're not a pushover. Virginia Tech not too good in the ACC. Then you get Eastern Kentucky, Sam Houston, and Cal is your first ACC matchup.
Yeah, and then Stanford. Then you play Duke, which is really your first game that you have to worry about. But I mean, they're good. That Diaz Graham guy, he's really good. He had a pretty bad game against Wisconsin. I
never know which one's the good one. There's Jorge, and then I forget the brother's name. I think it's Jorge that's good, but they're literally the same person to me. I just know them by the numbers. One's 25, and I think one's 31. They're literally identical twins. I can't tell.
Well, one of them
apart.
plays a lot, and the other really doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah. One plays a lot, and one comes in when they're winning.
So the one that plays a lot is what I'm talking about. Clemson up 5 with a minute left. It's huge. Oregon's shit in the bed, not good, but yeah, you'll take what we can get.
Yeah. That's a good obviously slate in college basketball. Let's look at some of these games tomorrow. What do you have? Our West Virginia Mountaineers at 2:30 going up against Gonzaga, the 3rd-ranked team in the nation. Any faith there for
Wait, what is that?
WVU versus Gonzaga tomorrow at 2:30.
Holy shit, where is that?
Tomorrow at 2:30
Bahamas.
in the Bahamas.
I mean, we just saw West Virginia get shit pumped by Pitt. Pitt's really good, don't get me wrong, but they're not on Gonzaga's level.
Cincinnati.
Who did?
Another top-ranked team.
Who lost to Cincinnati?
WVU did.
No, they didn't.
Oh, I was looking at their last 5 games, and it stems back to last year.
Yeah, that was last year. Yeah,
they've only played 4 games. They're 3-1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't. That's why I get so confused. These teams play in these tournaments, and they get the extra games, so their records are like 6-0, 6-1. Pitt's 5-1.
And West Virginia's 3-1.
6-0, and West Virginia's 3-1. I'm like, why aren't you playing games? It's like, well, you have to win to
play tournaments too.
Yeah, you got to get invited to them first.
I can see a 12.5-point spread on that game tomorrow.
Yeah, it doesn't have any spreads. A couple other good games. A&M versus Creighton. I know you went against Creighton today with San Diego State. That's working out. And you also went against A&M. You went against both of these teams today. But
A&M plays Creighton automatically tomorrow?
That's what it has lined up.
Oh, so it must be like a group play before the...
Yeah, it's probably like a pool or seeding play.
Yeah. Weird.
Michigan versus Xavier. That's a good matchup.
Xavier's good.
Rutgers, Alabama. Ace Bailey up against
Ace Bailey and Harper. They have 2 of the top 10 prospects on the team. They took a tough loss the other day, though.
There's a good slate tomorrow. So if you're listening to this on Thursday, make sure you stay tuned. These plays obviously start at noon. West Virginia at 2:30. I'm not saying we're gonna have plays on any of those, but there's some good matchups all throughout the day tomorrow, and I'm just looking at the top 25 teams that are playing tomorrow. So definitely make sure you're staying tuned to our Instagram, social media, Twitter. We'll get all of our plays out. I'm looking to go, Mackie, 3-1 today, or we have 2 losses right now? One and
we don't even have a loss yet. We're 1-0. About to be 2-0.
Is it Oregon that's not looking
great?
We
don't have Oregon on the card. I just took them separately.
Okay. I got confused.
We hit San Diego State plus 4.5. They won by 18 outright.
Clemson, Michigan State, Bama.
Clemson's up 5 with 15 seconds left. And then
so we're 2-0.
2-0. Michigan State just started. They're down 5-0, but it's a minute into the game.
And we have what, -1.5?
Yeah, -1.5.
And then Bama plus 4.5, right?
Bama plus 4.5 at 8 o'clock. So we can,
Yeah. Yeah, you threw
potential
me
for
off.
a
You
big
threw me
day.
off at that Oregon play. I thought that was on our card.
No, yeah, I took them off
All right.
guard. They're down 10 though.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, we have a good slate tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned to that. World of college football as well. Obviously, we've had a lot of not too many shakeups, but Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, and Notre Dame round out the top 5. Georgia slides back up into the 6th spot. Tennessee at 7, Miami at 8, SMU at 9. Indiana slides all the way down to 10. I think that's a tough slide after losing in Ohio State. I know it wasn't a one-possession game. They didn't cover, but that's a tough slide for them. That's like the
Well,
Cinderella team that everyone wants to see in. I personally could care less, other than the fact that the coach is from Pittsburgh, and I just like the guy and the whole vibe of like the Sig 10. I think that's funny how they're just like taking over social media. But Boise State at 11, and Clemson back in there at 12. Alabama slides out. Terrible loss for Alabama.
yeah, that was. I mean, you can't. First of all, they were blown out, 24-3. They have 0 offense going, and they
Monroe
know
could do nothing.
they know at this point in the season that they can't lose. So I mean that's just a really bad loss. It says a lot about their character. I think that they should be. I saw they still have like a 24% chance to make the college football playoff.
It's because of who they are. Like they're going to get the votes.
Who they are, and I think that they can make an SEC championship game still. So I think that'll help them as well. But
And what do you think about Colorado sliding all the way to 23?
Colorado's basically done. There needs to be a Big 12 team that makes it. So Clemson will be out at this point, and Arizona State looks like they'll be in, or Iowa State.
I keep thinking SMU's in the Big 12. They're ACC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't that just seem like a Big 12 team?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Right
and
now,
they're in Texas. Like, why wouldn't they be in the SEC or in the Big 12? That makes no sense.
Right now, the Big 12 championship game would be Arizona State BYU, and the winner would be the 12 seed.
I would take Arizona State in that matchup, right? If it was this weekend.
Well, Arizona State just beat them by 5.
Yeah, I would take them again to beat them again.
Would you?
Yeah, I probably would. BYU, we've been calling the BYU sketchy shit all year. I was betting on them a lot to begin the year. I'm like, if they're going to keep giving me these discounted lines against teams that they're actually better than, Arizona State's like the hottest team going right now in college football. You know what I mean? I'm saying that with a grain of salt, but like past couple weeks, so that's not a team you want to see.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be, I mean, the Big 12 kind of sucks, so whoever makes this is going to probably get bumped first round, but it'd be cool to see who makes it.
Yeah, top games this weekend we have, obviously, Texas at Texas A&M. A lot of people are picking Texas to lose that one, so I'm definitely hoping they don't. Miami at Syracuse. I am kind of leaning towards Miami to lose that one. Miami's had a couple close games. Obviously dropped one to Georgia Tech. This one on the road in the, what's it called, the Carrier Dome up there in Syracuse.
It used to be. It's something else now, but I still call it Carrier Dome.
It's like Heinz Field. That place is always the Carrier Dome. Yeah, the two top games on the slate. There's a couple other good ones. Make sure you're staying tuned. Obviously, we got 3 NFL games on Thanksgiving. We got college basketball in full swing, so we'll dive into college football come Saturday morning. But we'll jump over into the NHL. We'll get into our power rankings here. The power rankings in the NHL for this week are the number 5 Minnesota Wild, number 4 Vegas Golden Knights, number 3 New Jersey Devils, number 2 Carolina Hurricanes, and the number 1 still sitting there at 1, the Winnipeg Jets. I said this in our chat. I've been very tapped out on the NHL, so if you want to dive in on this, I don't have much to say. I haven't been watching much hockey.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as you. I haven't been watching a lot of hockey at all, but I know the Jets are rolling. Devils are playing really good hockey as of late as well. Hurricanes obviously up there. Who are the last 2 teams? Wild and
Vegas and Wild at 4 and 5.
Vegas and Wild. Okay, yeah, I haven't really been watching Vegas at all, but
Dude,
I know
I can't even tell you if that's a good list or not.
Only thing I can tell you is, yeah, I mean it's just the top 5 teams in the standings.
The NBA I have been watching. That's why I actually sent a list for that. We'll just switch right over to the NBA. I haven't been big in the NHL. We'll let Ace, if he has anything to say for the NHL when he gets on. NBA power rankings go as follows. Number 5, a new face. I think for the first time in HitTheBooks history. I love when we get these new teams in the power rankings. The Houston Rockets at number 5. Number 4, the Warriors. 3 Thunder, 2 Celtics, 1 Cavs. The reason I went through that so fast because the top 4 is the exact same as last week. Number 5 gets swapped out from the Lakers with the Rockets. I am big on this Rockets team. Ace kind of was like throwing shade saying like this is one of Huff's new young era teams. I said that going into the year. I think they're going to be a competitive team. Jalen Green, Sengun. They have a couple pieces down there that I really like on that team. What's the kid from Kentucky, Reed Shepherd, that they drafted? I like a couple of their pieces. I don't know how you feel about them. Like, I'm not saying they're going to go far. I'm definitely picking them to maybe make the playoffs and maybe not even a play-in. Like, I think they could truly solidify themselves as a playoff team.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of the NBA, so it's just like the NHL, so I don't really know much. But
They're
yeah, it's
sitting at
nice.
third in the West right now, literally above the Lakers, above, obviously, the West is
You know
kind of
how
watered
you know
down.
how NBA goes though. These
Yeah.
early season, like, are they really a threat when it comes down to it, or are they just going to be a playoff team that kind of gets
I
bounced
said it
first
last
round?
year. It's kind of the feeling I had about they don't have an Anthony Edwards, but that's kind of what I said about the Minnesota Timberwolves last year. They're one of those young teams that you just don't want to run into. Like, those young teams, they're like, we don't give a fuck. They beat the Nuggets last year in the
Just hooping
playoffs. Like,
too.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the Rockets go up against an older team, like maybe the Phoenix Suns, and I'd maybe pick the Rockets to take them down.
Yeah, just a bunch of young guys hooping too. So I don't know. It could be a sketchy team to play.
Yeah,
But
I like Jalen Green. I like Sengun. Van Vliet. We've heard him get pretty vocal with the refs. Did you see that?
yeah, when he
He
said
got
like,
he
what
got
did he
thrown
say
out of
to
the game,
him?
and he was like, "Fuck you, you suck,
He said, "You're
you've
a
been
fucking
ass all
bitch" or
night."
something like that.
Yeah, dude, he was going. He was like, and then he gets to the podium, and he was like, "I'll take the fine. Those guys suck every
Dude,
night."
he's gonna
He
get.
started name dropping them. He was like, "Michael Mackey sucks. This guy sucks." Like, literally, just
Dude,
starts name dropping all the reffing crew, and they were like, like, you're getting the fattest fine, but
he's
the
gonna get more
NBA
than a
her
fine. He's probably gonna get like a multi-game suspension for that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he went to the extent of like name dropping them. Like, it's different when you're just like, dude, the refs suck tonight. It's like, yeah, you can say that. We're not gonna fine you for that.
He said to his face, he was like, "You're a bitch" or something like that. And I
Yeah,
mean, like, dude, they're gonna hop on that. Like, Adam Silver's gonna be like, "Yeah, we got to set a example here because I
I
don't
li-
think we've ever seen this."
I like Van Fleet. Obviously a former NBA champion with the Raptors. He was a big
Yeah, it's just hard
part
to
of that.
go from like an NBA champ to like the way his career is going after. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys kind of just like say like "fuck you" at that
You know how
point.
many guys are on the NBA though that like carry themselves from like got carried to a title, and then they're like, I'm gonna
They
go
think
to a
that's the
young
norm.
team,
They think that's the
and
norm, and they're like, then they get
yeah,
humbled real quick.
they go to a young team and try to be like the leader, and like someone like Jalen Green's like, dude, you're Fred Van Fleet. Kawhi Leonard was that whole team. Like, you
Like, everyone
weren't.
knows why you guys won that ring.
Yeah, it was a double bounce against the Sixers, and then Kawhi took over in the finals. So, like, but I like our rankings this week. Obviously, top four, nothing changes. Warriors stay consistent. Thunder, I think, are the best team in the West. Right now, Minnesota not even in a play-in spot. They're sitting at 8-8. They've definitely had their struggles since losing Cat. The Knicks have had the exact opposite. What was it? The stat you sent the other night? First duo. What was it? 25-10 or something? Was it 20 first duo at first guard center duo to average?
It's not done. They were saying that they could be the first guard center duo to both average 25 points in a season. I think
And
it was.
okay,
But even last night, dude, like Anunoby
yeah,
had 40 points.
yeah,
Cat had 30 and 11. And
they're hooping like they're really good. And in Denver, they put up 145.
dude, that's what I was saying from the beginning of the season. They got off to a slow start. It's a brand new team, dude. They got to learn how to play together and
They've scored in their past 3 games. They've scored more than 130 points 3 times.
the offense is ridiculous. And that was the whole thing is these guys are trying to figure out how to play together. Brunson has to figure out how to. I wouldn't even say he's not the first guy, but he kind of is the second guy at this point, the way Cat's playing. And Anunoby's just doing absolutely ridiculous numbers right now. So this team's finding their way. Tibbs is kind of figuring out how to manage this team, and I think they're definitely going to be the second best team in the East by the end of the season.
Absolutely, yeah. Again, make sure you stay in tune. All our NHL and NBA plays. Ace kind of spearhead most of those right now. NBA, I'm still tapped in on more than the NHL, but my Penguins are fucking terrible. So the hockey league right now is just making me kind of depressed. So I haven't been watching too much NHL. You're on the other hand, you're kind of just like in cruise control until like spring. You're like, Rangers, just be alive. We'll be fine. They've been struggling, but
Yeah, they
they're
have.
one of those
Yeah.
teams that's like, dude, if they get Carolina in the playoffs, we know who's going to win that
Yeah,
series.
we know how it goes. It's
Yeah.
just like clockwork. History repeats itself. But yeah,
Yeah,
they're definitely
exactly.
they're kind of in shambles right now. But I mean, we're still sitting 12-7-1, so there's nothing to really worry about.
Yeah.
But
Exactly. Like I said, you're just in cruise control until maybe even like January, and then you got to start kind of checking up.
yeah.
But all
Exactly.
right, and we'll add Ace here to go through the NFL Week 13. All right, Ace has officially joined us. We're going to dive into our NFL Week 13 slate. 3 games on Thanksgiving. We get the Black Friday game and then our full Sunday slate. We're going to start out with the 12:30 game on Thanksgiving. The Chicago Bears heading to Detroit to take on the Lions. Lions are a 10-point favorite, over under 48.5. Bears money line plus 400, Lions minus 550. Mackie, which way do you go on this NFC North matchup?
Bears had a pretty good showing last week. I know, obviously they didn't win that football game, but Caleb Williams showed a lot of heart and a lot of I don't even know. I guess clutchness in that late in that game. He played really good towards the end of the game, but then again, he makes all of his mistakes as well. I don't think it's going to be enough to keep up with the Lions this week, but it's a divisional matchup. Thanksgiving, I think it'll be a close game. Just I don't see the Lions losing this game. They've been too good scoring the ball, and I think the Bears are going to have a tough time keeping up. But it should be a better game than most think. I'm going to go with the Lions here, though.
Yeah, Ace, I'll keep it quick here because I do agree. I think the Lions actually cover the spread. I think it won't be as close as most people think. Bears, obviously, on the road are a much different team than at home. That's why I took them last week, plus the 3.5 at cash in overtime. Mackey, unfortunately, missed out on that money line. That was tough because they should have won that game at the end. But I don't think the Bears coach knew that you could win on a field goal after both teams touched the ball the way they were playing defense. But I wasn't mad with them kicking a field goal. I was just hoping we could both cash there. But I'm going to take the Lions here, minus 10. I think this game will be 10-0 Lions before the Bears even realize what's going on. And then, obviously, they're the best team in football right now in our power rankings, everything like that. They won't blow that. Give me the Lions, minus 10.
Yeah, what's crazy is you guys both cashed on the Bears plus 3.5 last week. And when we hear the narratives from that one, is it the Vikings aren't that good or the Bears played very well? That's an interesting conversation itself. But looking at this game here, not surprised to see you on the Lions here, Huff. They are playing like the best team in football, world beaters now.
I took the Bears last week, but I've taken the Lions the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not? They put up points week in and week out. They have 2 of the best running backs in the league that always find the end zone. Their defense is playing well, and they have a pretty good coach with some nice players in all the skill positions as well. This week, I think there's going to be there's 2 things that could happen. Either the Lions jump out right away to an electrifying 7-10-0 lead, and then they don't look back and they put up over 50.
Or this is the Bears Super Bowl.
Yeah, it could be it's Thanksgiving. There could be something weird, punt return, special teams, defensive touchdown, fumbles, Jared Goff in the big moment. Sometimes he doesn't live up to it. With the turnovers, that could play a role. I think there's definitely some value in the Bears on the money line, but they don't win football games, let's be honest. I would like to think that there's a lot of points in this game. That's going to be my favorite bet is the over here. I think the over hits in every Lions game, but I'm seeing a lot of props in this one. Tough to take 10.5 with the Lions, but
is it? They've been covering left and right.
Yeah, it's a divisional game, though, and the fact that it's Thanksgiving. If it's not Thanksgiving, I'll give it to them every day of the week. The first game of the day. It's an early one on Thanksgiving. That's the thing. When everything's been normal, the Lions have been great. Let's see how they can do in the weirdest slate you can get on a very short week.
No, I get that. We'll dive into our next Thanksgiving game. This is probably the snooze fest of the day. Mackie, your Cowboys coming off a win here. Cowboys 3.5-point favorite against the Giants. Another divisional matchup, NFC East, over under 37. Cowboys minus 200. Giants plus 165. Mackie, I bet you weren't anticipating to see the Cowboys as a minus 200 favorite without Dak.
Well, if it wasn't against probably the worst team in the league, yeah, probably
worst quarterback in the league too.
I mean, they deserve to be 3.5, 4-point favorites in this game. I think Cooper Rush isn't the worst backup in the world. He knows how to at least drive the ball downfield a little.
He's just shown he's not a starter. He's a good backup. Yeah. He's just not a starter.
He's not even a good backup. He's just like you can.
Cooper Rush is a professional.
He's better. He's better than Tommy DeVito. On the other hand,
he's played for like 2 games.
Giants have nothing going for them. We saw Malik Neighbors in that post-game conference have a lot to say. So you could see him getting the ball a lot in this game. But I think the Cowboys cover this game. I think that it's not going to say much about them, and I think the season's basically over for them. But just ruin their draft position a little more and just get those shitty wins against these really lowly teams.
Are the Cowboys even out of it though, Mackie? They're playing themselves right back into wild card consideration.
They don't have Dak's out for the season. They don't have a team around them.
That should be the last thing you want as a Cowboys fan is them to get into the playoffs this year.
The way the NFL landscape is nowadays, they're not actually too far out, and they should pick up a win here this week. And it's because of things like we said. Cooper Rush is a professional. He plays the game the right way. He runs your system well. He feeds CeeDee Lamb the whole game. Guys like Schoonmaker stepping into the roles too. and playing like a professional when they're called upon. Yeah, they're not going to give you anything special, but with Micah Parsons flying around in that defense again, it's starting to look a little bit better than it did at the beginning of the year.
So-
And Tommy DeVito being in the quarterback for the New York Giants, said it last week, going to say it again this week, worst quarterback you can have starting the NFL nowadays. Kind of a joke to have him there, but we know they're on the tank train. They missed out on Jaden Daniels and Drake May last year by winning unnecessary games. They're not going to let it happen again here. There's no way they win this game on Thanksgiving against the Cowboys.
So you're asking if the Cowboys are basically out. So they're sitting at 4-7. You think how many more games do you think they can
No,
lose?
I know. I was being.
I was going to say
they're still alive.
they still have the Bengals, the Bucks, the Eagles, and the Commanders. They'd have to win 3 out of 4 of those games, and
The way the
don't think-
Commanders are playing, the Bengals lose to everybody.
I don't think Cooper Rush has it in him.
I'd love to see it.
I just have 2 things I want to say on this game. One, Giants obviously just got trounced by the Bucks. The funniest part of NFL Sunday was Baker running that in and doing the fucking most un-Italian version of that celebration. Like how fast he did it just didn't look right. But I mean, he was definitely trolling him. And then he said afterwards,
That was a
you know,
tribute.
are you sending a message? He goes, no, it's just a tribute to Tommy. You know, shout out Tommy.
That guy Baker,
Good
made
guy,
a
good
dog.
guy.
That guy's a dog. Dude, this Giants team's a joke though. They're not winning a game with that guy at quarterback. He's embarrassing to the franchise to have him out on the field. Not a fan of his game at all. I don't think there's any chance the Giants can do anything with him at the helm.
The other thing I wanted to say on this game,
Saquon
Mackie, did you hear what Jerry Jones said? I don't know if it was today or yesterday.
Oh my God! Don't even start with fucking Mike McCarthy, dude. I'm gonna blow my brains out. I can't. I can't. I told you earlier in the season. I said I cannot get behind. I can't root for a team that continues to act like this.
Is
How-
this Jason Garrett 2.0? They're just going to hold on to him way longer than they need to?
Garrett was actually good for a little. McCarthy fucking sucks. He's never been good. He's never. I can't understand.
Super Bowl, though.
He's got to have some like unknown pact between the two of them that nobody knows about that's keeping him around because
You
I
think,
saw-
you think Mike McCarthy has the Jerry Jones leaks?
he's got to have something over his head. He's got some. You know, and there's probably so much to have over that guy's head. He knows something that nobody else knows, but. How can you keep making excuses for this guy?
I'm so glad you saw that. I was really hoping
Jerry Jones can't look bad. He can't make the wrong decision. He can't look like he did the.
He's continuously making the wrong decision.
Yeah, but he's got to make him. He's got to back what he stood by. I think McCarthy's going to ride out this season because there's really nothing else.
Dude, they
No,
want to. It's not that It's not that they want to extend him. They want
Yeah,
to
I
keep
don't
him
think-
around.
They said he's not
Yeah,
rolling out a
that's
Mike
crazy.
McCarthy extension this
Nah,
offseason.
I think
You want to ride the season out. Ride the season out. You want to extend the man? Are you?
I don't think they're going to do that. I'm going to guess they don't do that one. If there were odds on that one, I think it'd be over plus 500 for him to
Oh
return.
boy, I don't know, man. It's just.
Is he under contract next year, Mackie?
No, this is last year.
Ugh.
I think.
That's gonna be
As of now. One thing I wanted to call out, though, I know we're going to get to the Eagles later, but it is the second funniest thing of the day would be Saquon Barkley single-handedly outgaining the New York Giants last week in total yardage.
That's not the first time he's done that all year, too.
No, but it's just a cherry on top every time.
I
get
hope
to see
he
that.
breaks. I hope he breaks the rushing record so bad. What is it, Eric Dickerson with 23, like 32?
And
or
you
something?
know who he
At
plays
this
in
point,
Week
yeah.
18.
I hope he breaks
New
it
York
before that.
Giants.
There's a chance he
No
breaks
way.
it before that.
Yeah.
I hope he does break it before that. If he breaks it, because then everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, the extra game," which is honestly, it's fair to say.
That's
is
exactly
true.
what I
Yep.
said, Mackie. I want him to do it in the
17
true
games.
16 games.
But
the
this
extra
isn't the first time that's happened in NFL history. It's just recency bias. To us, it's extended from 11 or 12 to 16 to 14 to 16. So all the stats always get.
But like
Based
in
off
that to that point, if he does say he's only, I don't know what the record is. Say he's 10, 20, 30 yards away from the record going into that game against the Giants. If he goes into that and has a 150 yard game, it's not up for argument. Like, yeah, that's the best rushing season ever.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't want to hear the extra game.
It's
bullshit,
actually
you know
harder
what
to
I
do it
mean?
over an extra game though because your body takes wear and tear. I know the numbers add up, but it's another way to look at it. At least.
You can make an argument for both sides. I know what you mean.
Yeah, especially with the running back.
Yeah, but back to our slate. The night game's hopefully going to be the good one of the day. Dolphins at Packers. Packers a 3-point favorite in this one. Over under 47. Dolphins money line plus 145. Packers minus 175.
Is this
in Lambeau
or Miami?
It's in Lambeau. I'm gonna do it and trust the Dolphins in the cold. I'm gonna take. The
I like it. I like it. I like it.
I don't want to, but I like it.
I want to take them so badly. I looked at the slate earlier today. I was looking at the lines. I was like, oh, the Dolphins at plus 165, is it? That's great value. They're playing good football. They're getting back into the AFC playoff race, which is wide open. But then we have to remember they're going to play at Lambeau Field in the cold.
I'm
in a
taking 'em.
prime time
I'm taking 'em.
Thanksgiving game at night.
I'm taking them.
I don't know about Mike McDaniel.
I think this is the underdog that could win outright on Thanksgiving, but I'll take the +3. Give me the
At the same
Dolphins.
time, we did tout this Dolphins team as potential division winners before the season. We thought they had the ability to be this good when they're healthy, and they do. But the fact that it's in the cold, I don't think I can.
Tua said he's ready to kill narratives.
It's gonna be like 22 degrees on Thursday night in Wisconsin.
In the prime time.
Yeah, we know how that usually goes for Miami. I like Miami with the points here. I think that Green Bay's a little overrated. Obviously, they played a great game last week against a really depleted 49ers team. Beat them 38-10, I think it was. But week before they beat the Bears 20-19. You know the Bears like to lose these games. Miami's playing great. Obviously, since Tua's been back, it looks like he's pre-CT. It looks like Tuscaloosa Tua. But I think they're definitely in the playoff hunt. I don't know if they're gonna make it, but they're winning these football games. They started 2-6, sitting at 5-6 now. This is a huge game for their season, and I like them to cover the spread here.
What about Jalen Waddle coming back to life last week? He looked like Megatron with those stats he was putting up.
Did you hear what he said? He's not doing the Waddle celebration anymore. Did you hear why?
No.
He said too many people are coming up to him in public and asking him to do the Waddle.
Oh yeah, I think that's a good reason to stop. Even though you could have gotten a good trademark off of that, you're missing out, Jalen Waddle.
Literally, it's like I always say,
his logo.
Like the DeVito thing, like this. Like you just got to be waiting for someone to use it against you. Anytime you have a signature celebration, it's going to get used against you.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I would have trademarked the fuck out of that. But that Dolphins team as a whole is playing good football. What about Jonnu Smith having a career resurgence in Mike McDaniel's offense? The defense defense started to play well, but that Packers team is actually on fire. I know that they had a close divisional game with Chicago Bears, but a divisional game should always be close. And what about the way that offense has been playing? Jordan Love gets everybody involved. Jaden Reed is one of the best receivers in the league, maybe one of the most unsung. Josh Jacobs going to that team looks unstoppable. Maybe you do want to pay money for running backs the way Jacobs, Henry, and Barkley have played. Tucker Kraft, your boy, he's been on fire too. You have Watson, Romeo Doubs. I think they have a few Wicks, Dontavian Wicks as well. There's just so many options that are playing great football in Green Bay.
Yeah, I agree. This is going to be a good game. So you go with the Packers -3?
Yeah, I'm going to have to. It's in the cold. If it was in South Florida, I think I might be taking that value on the Miami Dolphins.
Huff, it was Jake Marsh.
Was it?
Yeah, John Rothstein just tweeted about it.
Yeah, that's cool. I knew it was him. All right, let's get into our Black Friday game. I think they said the Raiders and Chiefs are just going to play every year on Black Friday, which is, I guess, okay, but I don't want the Raiders ever in a standalone game. But Raiders +12.5 at the Chiefs, over under 42.5. Raiders +500, Chiefs -700. Raiders won this game last year on Black Friday.
They're not winning it again.
I said it last week against the Panthers. They don't cover big spreads. I will take the Raiders +12.5.
Don't actually do
Desmond
that.
Ritter is starting at quarterback.
Yeah, don't actually do that.
I understand Ritter started. Ritter won us, Mackie. Ritter won us that spread last week. It got close. It got scary.
It got close. Got about a yard
If there was
short.
ever a chance for the Kansas City Chiefs to cover the spread, it would be this week.
I
Honestly.
agree. That's why I'm not actually going to card it, but I'm going to stick to the trend. I've been saying it every week. I
The
can't go
trend's on
against them now.
fire. The trend is on fire.
I can't go against them now. I mean, this is actually probably the best spot to go against that trend. Like you said, Desmond Ritter under center. I think Amir Abdullah is the top running back going for the Raiders right now. They have absolutely nothing going for them. That's why all the signs just point to just take the Raiders.
Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers, Amir Abdullah, led by Desmond Ritter. I don't know. That defense is pretty mixed.
I didn't know Aiden O'Connell broke his hand. Last week when Minshew went down, I was like, oh, Aiden O'Connell's coming in. Like, this game's not over. And then Ritter came in, and I was like, oh, my God. He fumbled 2 plays into me, and in there, I texted Mackie. I was like, Ritter, let's fucking go.
Yeah. That's tough. I mean, once a good Cincinnati Bearcat, but not really at the next level.
This line just dropped to 12.
Yeah, this Chiefs being 2-9 against the spread. I'm going to blindly. I'm not going to take it, but I'm going to blindly say that the Raiders are going to cover the spread. Second matchup of the year too.
Another divisional matchup.
Yeah, just blindly.
Is this in Kansas
They're
City?
2-9 against the spread. A
It's
12
in
point
Arrowhead,
spread.
Ace.
They just beat the Panthers by 3 points. I mean,
It's not a night game. That's part of why I kind of like it. It's a 3:00 game on Black Friday.
I really just don't like. I know, I understand the trends are great. Just think about the actual football being played.
You of all people always say don't bet against
I
the
know.
trend.
I tell you
was
what,
the trend.
I'm not taking the Chiefs. You haven't seen me take the Chiefs almost all year on this spread, really.
You do the right play. You take one of their touchdowns and then the money line.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
Hunt.
That's what you do with
Noah Gray.
No more Hunt anymore. So probably Hopkins has been finding the end zone. Kelsey a
lot of those guys you can just get it plus money.
Noah Gray has 4 touchdowns in 2 games.
Noah Gray, tight end
I'm
one.
probably not going to touch this game besides props,
But it's so tough. I mean, because if you think about it from a football perspective, what are the Vegas Raiders going to do to stop the Chiefs? And then what are they going to do on offense to get any points on the board besides kick field goals?
Brock Bowers, him and Ladd McConkey, 2 Bulldogs, leading all rookies in receiving yards.
Yeah, but how did his stats look last week when Ritter came in? That's the question. Do they have any?
He only
before?
played like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
Ritter
say
came in
he
like
put the ball on the
after
floor a
2
couple
minutes.
times?
He fumbled one. Broncos got it.
Yeah. This is gonna be tough.
Oh,
I think this is a good spot for a shutout. It was a Black Friday shutout. Nice little deal by that Chiefs defense. We talk about the Mahomes and the Kelsey and the Hunt and everything all the time, but it's really that defense that's the unsung hero of the back-to-back champions, and I think they have a big game this week.
This is probably one of the.
is this a defensive touchdown spot to look at?
For the Chiefs?
Yeah, DST touchdown.
I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, neither would I. It's not a bad one.
I can honestly say that's one thing in football I've never bet as a
Me
defensive
neither.
anytime. And I'm a Steelers fan. We're like, obviously,
if anybody were to do it,
yeah, like you have a great defense, not a good offense. You need the defense to make a play. I never bet that.
Patriots defense got one last week.
I feel like in general, it's not as good odds as it should be.
It's because they take into account the return.
Exactly. Like I think if you were to tell me a defensive team is going to score a touchdown, I think that should be plus 700 all day.
I wonder if you did just the defense minus special teams, it probably would be that high.
Yeah, true. I don't know because I've
never seen the bet without it.
FanDuel has one where you can do just the defense and then you can do defensive / special teams. And the odds are always like just take the chance that it's a kick return or punt return. Like
it's not that different.
It's not that much better. It'll be like plus 650 and 700.
Oh, that's a lot worse than I thought. I thought it'd be.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I start looking into that. Maybe we just throw a little half unit play on the Chiefs defensive special teams to get in this week.
It's not a bad play, but this next game, I think this is a pretty good game. I'm excited to watch this one in the 1:00 slate. The Chargers heading to Atlanta. 2 teams you don't see play each other very often. Complete opposite sides of the country, opposite conferences. Chargers a 1.5 point favorite, minus 125 on the money line. Falcons plus 105, over under 47.5. Chargers coming off a loss. Falcons, did they lose a bye? Coming off a bye, they lost to Denver the week before. I'm going to go with the Chargers to get back on track here. I think this Chargers team is better than most people think, which is kind of hard to say because they're obviously getting the love that everyone loves. Harbaugh, everyone loves that team's defense, and a lot of people are starting to trust Herbert. We're still trying to get Mackey on that side of things. Obviously, he lost another big game, but
wait till you hear what I have to say about this.
You lose J.K. Dobbins in the playoffs, or in the second half of that game. That lost me my fantasy matchup. I was pretty fucking pissed about that. I did bet the Ravens last night. I thought they were going to win that game. I don't think Dobbins makes that much of a difference. But give me the Chargers here on the road. I think they're going to go to Atlanta and get a win, minus 125 on the money line. Ace.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess up Justin Herbert a little bit here before Mackey comes in. On the year, he's got a 13-1 TD to INT ratio. He's ran in 2 touchdowns. He's looked like a whole different quarterback under the Harbaugh system. They brought in new coordinators. I believe it's Greg Roman calling their plays.
Yeah.
And they have
former Raven, right?
Yeah, and he's got Gus Edwards. He's got J.K. Dobbins. He's got a very similar offense with a plethora of receivers. I know Johnston looked terrible with the drops last night, but he's not a bad 3.
They need to stop giving him so many looks. How does Ladd McConkey only get 5 targets?
He's had a touchdown. It's probably coverage based too, though. He's probably, if he's the 3 with Palmer and McConkey out there, the guy that's covering Quentin Johnson definitely can't cover him. He just can't catch the ball, as evident last night. And I think he's on a 3 or 4 touchdown streak as well. The weapons are great. What about Will Dissly, the former Seahawk blocking tight end? Started throwing the ball for the first time in his career this season. He's a great receiving tight end. Meanwhile, that defense is strong. I loved Khalil Mack's quote after the loss to the Ravens saying, "Give us them in the playoffs. I'm not afraid of that guy." Not many people say that about Derrick Henry, so that gives me some confidence as well. But just a well-coached football team. No more Brandon Staley. Justin Herbert, healthy. He hasn't been healthy much in his career. Let's remember that. He gets dinged up a lot.
He's even been dinged up when the Steelers played the Chargers. We played Easton Stick.
Yeah, exactly. Every year it seems like he's sitting at some point dealing with some sort of minor ailment. Never at 100%, but he looks like that right now. Last 2 games, I believe in the prime time, he's looked like a whole different player, one we expect to see out of college. I like them here this week too, Huff. I think the Falcons are one of the faker teams. I think there's a chance the Bucs end up pressing them for that division, but they are coming off the bye week, I believe. So they got to have a strong game plan coming in.
Off the bye at home. I feel like that's got to be a stat that you do a little bit better off the bye when you're at home versus off the bye on the road.
Yeah, and that's a good.
Oregon.
Are they winning?
73-70, 22 seconds left.
Oh,
Sorry.
come on.
All right, that just tells you how far ahead you are. I have 1:10 left, and they're up 1.
All right, Huff will know the score tomorrow.
Texas A&M
Mackie, this is just a nice little daytime bet. He goes, hey, plus 160 on the Oregon money line. I'm like, yeah, I'll tap in for that. Thank you. Here we go.
2 to start the day.
Mackie, you see the guy in Oregon that's like balding? Or you're not watching the game? You're just
I'm
checking.
not watching. Yeah, I'm looking.
They have a center
right
that's
here.
literally balding.
Yeah, they play big ball, and Texas A&M plays small. That's why I like them. But
Bijan and that offense will be fired up for that's going to be a great matchup to watch on paper. Derrick Henry kind of shredded the Chargers defense. Now I want to see how the Falcons offense, that's pretty prolific and high-powered, can do. Still not a fan of Kirk Cousins. Really want to see Michael Penix, but that probably won't be till next year.
Over under 47.5, Ace.
That's a tough one.
I say over.
I do too. I think there's a lot. I think the under because a lot of drives are going to stall out and end in kicks. We saw that with Cameron Dicker and the Chargers last night. We've seen that a lot of times with the Chargers. I think we're going to see that with the Falcons too this week. A lot of yardage gained by a lot of the skill players, but a lot of points ending by Dicker and Koo, 2 of the better kickers.
I might have to tap back in on my Drake London anytime touchdown in this one, but I do like the Chargers.
Against Chargers defense.
Chargers defense is scary.
Ravens did it to him last night. I'm not saying they're a similar offense, but they've been shown they can throw. You can throw the deep ball on the Chargers.
Yeah. Watching the Chargers recently, I genuinely do feel really bad for Justin Herbert. I mean, the amount of dimes he drops and they're just dropped. QJ is more than anyone, but even Ladd has a few drops in the last few games. Where it's like, these guys got to catch these balls, and they're not going to win games. But I like the Chargers here as well. I think the Falcons, I was a little high on them in the beginning of the season. They've been showing their true colors a little more recently. Coming off a bye, they have a better chance here, but these are the games the Chargers win, and they're a pretty good team. So I like their defense to stand tall against the team, and I think Herbert gets just enough done. But I mean, at the end of the day, I still think this Chargers team is going to be first round exit in the playoffs.
Yeah. The next game, AFC North matchup, my Steelers heading to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Bengals a 3-point favorite, over under 47. Steelers money line plus 130. Bengals minus 155. I don't want to say a bad feeling about this game because I don't. Like, I could sit here and spew all the Tomlin underdog fucking stats and divisional stats, 1 o'clock, like all these random stats to make myself feel good about this game. That game, the way that game in Cleveland went last week, I thought they were actually going to come back and win. They obviously were leading. They should have let Chubb score at the end with 1:20 left instead of like 30-something seconds left. Didn't really give us much of a chance to come back. And obviously that Hail Mary at the end that never had a chance. Not many Hail Marys do, but I'm going to take the under here. I lean on the Steelers to win this game, mainly because I'm a biased Steeler fan. I like the under. I think we're going to be able to contain Burrow. I think the Steelers are going to be in the game. I don't know if they're going to cover the spread. I don't know if they're going to win. I just think it's going to be a lower scoring game. Either team could win this 24-21, 23-21, somewhere in there.
The narrative on the Steelers team has already changed big time, hasn't it?
Dude, you got to remember, like, Steeler fans are also the most I feel like they're the number one franchise to, oh, we're 8-2, we're winning the Super Bowl. They lose one game, and it's like the fucking world's ending.
Yeah, no, what's crazy is you always take this team at face value. You get really up when they win, but when you're actually talking about the game within 24 hours, like when you're
it's a roller coaster.
Break.
Yeah, and I like to think I'm realistic about them. I'm obviously more biased out there. My favorite quarterback playing. He didn't look good last week. He looked good in certain spots. Once that weather turned, I was like, "There's no chance we come back," and then we started coming back.
Yeah.
the offense looks bad in the fucking clear weather. They look good in the snow. I'm like, this makes no sense.
Yeah, that's because players are breaking free. That's the one thing. I'll get to my take in a second. But like, I'm just saying, your takes as a Steelers fan are a lot more valid because other people built them up so high and blew up the balloon, and then they popped it. It's like, no, they're in between. They're not a bad team. They're not like a great team. They're a solid team. They're a playoff
They're a top
team.
5 team in the AFC.
I don't know if they're a top 5 team in the AFC.
Steelers, are they better than the Chargers?
No.
Yeah, I'm taking them over the Chargers. In the
Yeah, I
playoff.
would take it.
Playoff
They have
matchup,
like
I'm
a
taking them
legit- they
over.
have
Who's
like
at
a-
home?
What'd you say?
No, it
Who's
doesn't.
at home?
No, it doesn't.
But the
I would
Chargers.
be able to play the Chargers in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are with the
I would take-
Chargers and the.
I would take.
What
I
about
would- I-
this?
They're the fourth best team.
Bengals or the Steelers? You're not talking about records, just who's a better team.
Steelers. All the Bengals
I
have
take
is
the
a
Steelers.
quarterback and a
Take the
receiver.
Steelers. Take the
No,
Steelers.
we'll see.
The
We'll
Steelers
see.
are good.
We get
Steelers
two
are good, and
matchups out of it.
Russ is playing really good football too.
You
so
think though that offense has been putrid?
I think you're letting your emotions get in the way a little bit here.
But the offense hasn't been good at all. They haven't scored many touchdowns at all.
Yeah, but he's doing his job.
I just don't trust them to score enough points. I don't know if they'll be able to against the Joe
That's
Burrow.
Steelers football. You heard Dan Orlovsky. Literally
That's
the day
so
after.
Retard, the day after you
What's
beat
that
Lamar
reason?
Jackson.
Yeah, thank you.
You can't beat Lamar Jackson playing a style of football. You just did less than 24 hours ago.
I know. All right, they're a first round bye in the playoffs. That's all I'm going to say.
I
The
remember
last
when
few
Stephen
years,
A.
they're
I
a
remember
Not
when
this year.
Stephen A. said
Not
that.
this
Yeah,
year.
last 2 years with
No,
Pickett.
no.
Yeah, that
If
wasn't a hot take
if
at
they
all.
play the Bills,
But how
Or
can
if-
they score points in the playoffs? That's the thing, and they're
I'd
losing.
love to.
The
Here's
ground is
me as a
slipping
Steelers
very
fan.
quickly. They're going to be a wild card team trailing on the road to one of the top teams. I don't know if I like
the
that.
only
Me as a
team,
Steeler fan, send us to Baltimore, send us to Houston, bring the Chargers
want
here. Those
Houston.
are the 3
Want
matchups that
Houston.
we're
the
going to
only
get.
team I think the Steelers cannot beat is the Bills.
Yeah,
Oh,
I agree.
They can't
Mackie,
beat the Chiefs.
I agree 100%.
They can't beat the Chiefs.
They probably
don't have to
won't
worry
beat
about
the
the
Chiefs,
Chiefs
but
in
they
the first round.
definitely could beat the
Not
Chiefs.
when it's an Arrowhead.
They probably wouldn't beat the Chiefs, but they
playoffs
definitely
in
could.
Arrowhead. You're saying they probably wouldn't. Oh
You
my
wanna know,
God.
you want to know what the highlight of like my probably last 3 years as an NFL fan was when we played the Chiefs, Ben's last year in the first round of the playoffs, and the first touchdown was a TJ Watt defensive touchdown. I was like, holy fuck, we're actually going to do this. Chiefs went on to score like 28 straight points. It was 28-7 at halftime. I went to bed.
Regardless, that defense is elite, like I said, but it's just that's very alarming. This Steelers offense to me, and Huff I think sees it as a fan when your kicker is your most relied upon player. George Pickens has come to life, and he's one of the top receivers in the league. I don't have faith in Russell Wilson. I think the quarterback position is what's holding this team back. The tight end position Freiermuth had a high ceiling, I feel like, and he hasn't really panned out. Still,
I thought this was going to be his year with Russ. Russ
just
likes
don't think he's
Washington
good.
a lot more, and so do I.
Yeah, I like Washington too. He's actually evident. Pickens and Washington are only 2 true receiving threats. The ground game's starting to come to life a little bit. Najee Harris has glimpses of his old self. I just don't
Last
see it
2
enough.
weeks he hasn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not consistent, so tough to get a read there. Jalen Warren's starting to pop off again. But I'm just not sold on Russell Wilson. It scares me. And I really think there's a good chance the Bengals can play themselves into a playoff spot and potentially pass the Steelers in the standings. I don't think this Bengals team is good. If
With
the
a 4-game lead with 6 to play,
Yeah, the schedules left are very different on each side of the realm.
I don't know what the Bengals schedule looks like.
It's
I'm just
light.
looking at the
It's light.
It's
Okay.
real light. It's real light.
They could
Steelers
win
have
out.
the hardest schedule remaining.
Yeah,
Wait,
and
Ace, what are you saying?
there's a chance we could see the Bengals push to pass the Steelers in the standings by this end of the season.
Dude, this is just, you're acting the Steelers don't win football games.
They haven't played anybody great. We've seen them do this in years past, post Ben
Dude,
Roethlisberger
beat
era.
Ravens.
They just beat the Ravens. You literally gobble the
It's
Ravens.
fine. That's fine. In Pittsburgh, and they won it by the skin of their teeth. They didn't look good doing it. I don't trust them to go on the road to Baltimore at all and recreate that performance. I don't trust them against the Cincinnati Bengals, who I am so low on, which is crazy. I think there's a good chance that the Bengals win. The Cincinnati Bengals are 2.5-point favorites this week against them. That team is not good.
How many times have the Bengals been favorited this year and haven't won?
Yeah,
I mean, Joe Burrow, the way he's playing
if
MVP.
Joe Burrow wins
football.
this game, though, how much
Mackie,
does
the
the
way you're
narrative change?
talking, I think you like the Steelers. You think a divisional matchup, you'd take the Steelers here.
Where is it?
In Cincy.
I think Cincy will win next week.
Yeah.
I
How
think
do you,
it-
how, all right,
I think it's insane to say that they're going to jump the Steelers in the.
I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
say
with
that.
a
I didn't say
four-game
that.
lead.
Did you not hear what I said? They're gonna push to be close to passing those Steelers in the standings. I bet you they finish one game apart. Either way, The Steelers have to play the Bengals in Cincinnati. They have to play the Browns again, who they don't play good football against.
They'll beat the Browns.
When
You're not
it's
gonna
at
lose
home,
twice to
it's
the
at home.
Browns.
That's
You're
a
not gonna
win.
lose twice to
But,
the Browns.
We'll revisit that's locked in as a win. The Eagles and the Ravens on the
Lost
road.
to the Eagles, beat the Ravens.
Dude,
We're 8-1 against the Ravens in the last 2 years.
okay.
Or last
I
however many
want to
years.
revisit this. Like, we got a
You also
clip
beat the
7
Eagles.
o'clock p.m. on 11/26
You also
that they
beat the
beat the
Eagles,
Browns
though.
and the Ravens. They're playing the Chiefs and then the Bengals again. There's a chance that the Steelers are going to have very close games. And
Here's
I
the
don't know.
thing: they're
What's their
sitting at
record gonna
they're
end at?
sitting at they're sitting at 8-3.
Yeah.
They're gonna beat the Bengals once out of twice.
I'll give you that.
Let's say that.
That's
That's the last game of the year.
given. That's
That's
the only
9
one that's
wins.
given.
They're gonna beat
The Browns.
The Browns. It's another given.
That's 10 wins.
They will win one of Eagles, Ravens,
All right,
Chiefs.
Mackie, what you just said though. So if they win, I don't think they beat any of those teams. I think
That'd
they
be a
zero
lot.
I think they end 11-6. I think they get 3 more wins.
And you know, I think is going to be a great scenario though is when the Steelers are hosting the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 18 at 9-7, and the Bengals are sitting at what 7-9,
8-8.
8-8 if they play their cards right for that wild card spot wherever it may be. I think that's going to be very interesting. The Steelers have played 2 games in the division. They won the home game and they lost the road game. So even if we say they split the rest of the way, that's a best case scenario. I don't know. I'm just the Steelers.
What have the Ravens done in the division?
The Ravens have, I think,
Lost to the Steelers, lost to the
3-2.
Browns.
Yeah, they're 3-2. They'll probably finish 4-2. But I just think the Steelers don't bode confidence with the way their offense has been
We're not
playing.
3-2. They
You
still have
can't-
2 games left.
Also, I as a Steeler fan, Steelers aren't good
They have
enough
one
to
game
spend
left, man.
this much time
They
on a
don't.
game.
They
We
play the
we
Steelers
gave our
and
picks. Let's
Browns.
get off this game. Cardinals at Vikings. Vikings 3.5-point favorite. Over under 45.5. Vikings -190 plus 155 for the Cardinals. I'm gonna take Arizona here.
Plus 3.5. I like it. I'm
taking
on
plus 3.5. I think the Cardinals are in this game.
I think there's a lot
Kind
of
of similar
points
to
in
that
this one.
Bears game last week. I'm going to take the points. I could see this literally the Cardinals lose exactly by 3.
Yeah, very similar teams, these Vikings and these Steelers. We'll see who ends up higher at the end of the season. Teams that just find ways to win versus being good football teams. The Vikings have some faith with that Justin Jefferson offense, who's very quiet. It was nice to see Addison pop off and Hawkinson really come back into play as well. But this Cardinals team, they're playing great football. I mean, they're not coming off a win last week, but they are doing well. They're asking Kyler Murray to do too much, in my
They
opinion.
look terrible in Seattle.
Don't
But
you think-
that's NFC West football. And from my time as a true Seahawks fan when Russell was there, every time the Cardinals would come to Seattle, Seattle would win. Every time Seahawks went to Arizona, I was always scared that they were going to lose.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one to see. This game it's tough. Like, it's really tough. How do you bet against the Vikings? That's what I feel like Mackey's saying about the Steelers. But how do you bet on how do you bet on them because they're not playing great football, right? Like they're kind of playing
I'm not
tough.
big on this Vikings team. I told you guys that earlier. I don't know.
They win though.
Maybe
Yeah, they're
that's
finding ways to win, but they win tight games. They're not
I
going
was
to.
going to say they're literally the Steelers of the NFC.
They're just not going to cover the spread. They'll
They
probably
just
They're
have a
probably
lot
not
of-
going to win their division. They're probably going to be a wild card team. Am I scared of them in the playoffs?
No.
The Vikings, I'm certainly not with Sam Darnold. I'm just biased to Russ. I'll take the good defense. Steelers could win a game. They're not going to be
The
Buffalo
only
or
thing that
Kansas City.
gives hope to this Vikings team when I do bet on them, if you notice, I take a lot of their props. TJ Hawkinson has looked great since coming back. Aaron Jones is healthy. Jordan Addison
He's a top
alongside Justin Jefferson.
Would you say?
That's what I'm saying. Their offensive side of the ball, they have the skill players to put points up when they need them. And they have a great offensive mind. But this Cardinals team, I think they're destined for the playoffs too. If they lose this game, I think they might find themselves on the outside looking in for the rest of the season, though.
What's their schedule look like?
They definitely have a lot of NFC West games left.
Yeah, like they've already played the
And they could
49ers
lose.
once, they played the Rams once, and they played the Seahawks once. They might have 3 divisional games left.
And they might. I could see them losing all 3, sadly.
I could see them go 1-2 because one of the home game against the Seahawks they'll win.
Yeah, and that's just a maybe, though. That's not an easy game.
Yeah, I mean,
at the
Seahawks-
Rams week 17, at home against the 49ers week 18.
where
Yeah.
do they play the Seahawks? Or they already played them twice.
They play them at home next week.
The good thing is the
Oh,
Cardinals
they're
do
going to win
the
on
Cardinals-
basically a back-to-back with a game in between? Yeah.
But the Cardinals do have the Patriots and the Panthers on their schedule, which is a nice thing to see. Their offense looks good. I just don't know. I don't know. I love the Cardinals. Big fan of them. I just am not like sold on them to be like the NFC West winners and beat good teams yet. And the Vikings, I'm going to dub them as a solid team, just the mirror of what you guys are saying in the AFC.
All right, let's see here. Our next game, Colts at Patriots. Patriots plus 2.5. Over under 42.5. Patriots money line plus 125. Colts minus 150. I will let you guys dive into this game. I will be right back.
I don't think I'm touching this game, Mackie. Are you?
No, but this is definitely a game where the Patriots win and they just kind of kill their.
Also, if I take a little bit too long, if you guys want to get into Seahawks Jets, feel free. It's a 2-point spread.
I think Drake May makes this Patriots team a little better than this Colts team. They both suck in my opinion.
The Colts, I think, are valid though. I think they could push for a playoff spot. They're going to be like the 9th seed in the AFC.
Push for a playoff spot? How?
The playoffs. Have you looked at the AFC playoffs at all?
Yeah, but if you think the Colts have any edge over the Dolphins or the Bengals,
no, I don't think they do. But they're going to finish like right around them.
Nah, let's look at their schedule. They're 5-7. Say they win this week. That's a big if.
Yeah, they're going to have a big game
at the Broncos. Their next
where they're
game.
1 game back. If they win and the Chargers win,
you have to go to the Mile High City to play a better team than you.
You
have to win that game.
They're going to lose. Mackie.
Yeah, you're right. Very easy down the stretch.
They could win all 5. They could go 4-1. They could lose every game too, though.
Into the playoffs, that is the worst team. They do not.
They're gonna be like that team when when we're looking at playoff scenarios on wild card like week 17, 18, where this has to happen for this, and this. They're gonna be in the graphic, and we're gonna be like, they're not making it no matter what, but they're still included. Like if all of this happens, they're in. Like
if 11 outcomes, which they'll probably get like 8 of them, but
they have a nice schedule. And Anthony Richardson, I don't know. How do you think they handled his development with the last season?
I think they're messing with a lot of his. He can't have any confidence the way that they've kind of taken care of the whole QB scenario. But I'm also not a very big fan of him either. So I don't know how you guys feel about him.
They fumbled that. I think they could have
young too. He's like 24 years old, 25 years old.
Yeah, let him roll with it. You have him under contract. You have the other young pieces that are his age. You know you're not going with Joe Flacco next year. The fact that they already said AR is their guy going forward, why not just stick with him now?
You did say that you did have faith in these Colts last week. I told you Anthony Richardson doesn't do it in back-to-back games. This would be the game he does it in. He can't string together games, but he has the gaps.
Listen to this take. I said they're at 5-7 right now. They play the Patriots, the Giants, the Titans, and the Jaguars, and the Broncos. Those are their final 5 games. They're going to be that team in week 17 or 18 where we're looking at wild card predictions, and all of this needs to happen. We're going to be looking at like Steelers and Bengals and the Dolphins, the better teams. Yeah, and then it's going to have on the graphic Colts. If everybody else loses, they get in.
Yeah, they're going to be that team.
But they're not going to get in. But
it's going to be like if the Steelers lose to the Bengals, the Dolphins lose their last game, and
the Broncos and Chargers tie.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, there's going to be a tie scenario in there.
And the Colts get in because I think they win this week. And my Patriots, like Mackie said, Drake May's breathed life into their offense. They look good, but that roster is brutal around it. Coaching staff, pretty weak too, and rookie coaching staff. So.
I love the under in this game. 42.5 up in New England. We're starting to get into cold weather.
But they run the ball well. We can't stop anybody.
I know, but that keeps the clock moving. I love it. Obviously, anytime you take an under, you love teams that want to run the ball. Patriots, obviously, with Drake May, they're going to try to air it out.
He just chucks it.
But that's also good for turnovers in the offense or on the offensive side of the field. I like the under 42.5. I do think the Colts win this game 20-17.
Yeah, I'm not touching this one.
In a 2.5 point spread, they cover by the half hook. I don't love this game. I'll take the under there, but we'll dive into our
I'll take Drake May to throw a passing prop because they're always playing from behind. So
yeah, exactly. You know what's a good play or a good bet for him is always like I feel like his longest completion. I used to take that with quarterbacks, and I'm like, these guys are just going to air it out.
Yeah,
you can get good. Like and he's not even like considered quote unquote like.
Yeah, he's just got a big arm.
Yeah, he's not even like considered like a top. He doesn't get respect by Vegas yet. That's how I should say.
Yeah, yeah. So he's just unknown.
Like, I don't know what his longest attempts have been set at. I used to take it with...
Attempt or yard?
Longest completion.
All right.
I remember I took it with... The first year we did this, when Matt Ryan was on the Colts. And
I remember that.
Wasn't good. He would just sling it. And he'd get like a 60-yard or a 40-yard pass, and it was always set at like 22.5. So if he throws a 25-yard pass, it's you hit.
And the run after catch too. Sometimes you just get
And
blessed.
the best part is all it takes is one play. He could do it in the first quarter. He could do it in the fourth quarter. You hit.
And it's not even air yards. So like you could throw a drag route and he takes it to the rack.
Screen it goes for 75 yards. Yep.
Yeah. It's like, thank you. Goes for 30 yards. You're like, thank you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Not a bad bet.
That's something to look at for this one, especially against the Colts defense. But we'll get into this next one. Seahawks coming off a win against the big divisional win to get them back to 6-5. They've been struggling the past few weeks. Going to New York to face the terrible Jets. Jets 2-point dogs, over under 41.5. Jets plus 110. Seahawks minus 135. I like the Jets here. I think this is the guy. Me being,
I thought that too. I was gonna say, can the Jets win this game?
They can. The Seahawks aren't good on the East Coast. They handled the Patriots early on, but that's when the Seahawks were like considered a good team.
Mm-hmm.
They're not considered.
They aren't again. They aren't again. They're 6-5.
I don't think they're good. I think they're that team in the NFC that's like they're not actually good. No one's unless you have to go to Seattle. They're not a scary team.
I agree with you. You know what's crazy though? If we look at those the Niners with all their issues, we look at the Cardinals with their youth and being new, we look at the Rams and the weak defense, the safest team you would think on paper might be the Seahawks because they've done that. They've been there. They have good players on both sides of the ball and good coaching, good organization, that always good running game, great running game actually.
You said good coaching. The rookie coach, what's his name? McDonald?
Yeah, but he took over. Like Carroll's still in the system, so it's
he was inherited a system. That's like a lot of people that don't like Tomlin. They always say when he won that Super Bowl in 2009, like they're like that's Bill Cowher's team, and Tomlin stepped in and won. It's like someone had to call the fucking plays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone had to set the lineup. I think that McDonald guy up there in Seattle. I think they found a great replacement for him. Mm-hmm. I think that team will be sticking around. I called the 49ers not being that good this year. I think the Seahawks are on the up and up with. They don't have a good defense, but they're drafting great pieces. Devin Witherspoon, what's his name? Tariq Woolen. They have pieces.
The linebackers.
That linebacker, Brooks.
Yeah.
I love him. They have great pieces on both sides of the ball. Kenneth Walker.
Charbonnet.
Charbonnet. Like, they have names.
DK,
Geno Smith is just Mr. Consistent.
Yeah.
Not all the time. He does have bad games, but, no one expects him. No one has him ranked as a top 15 quarterback. They expect the team to just get the job done. Geno just can't lose the game. I like the Jets here. I think they struggle in MetLife in the cold. Give me the Jets on the money line plus 110.
How much can you not put that on your card, though?
I'm not putting that on my card.
Yeah, it's the way I feel about it, too, because I think the Jets actually should win this game. They're not going to lose out the rest of the season. I know there's turmoil everywhere. They go for.
I always say this. The Jets and the Giants don't know how to lose, so they win games they're not supposed to, and they'll pick 9th instead of 4th.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers should have a successful week. I feel like he feasted against the Seahawks before in his career. I'm definitely not betting on it. I do lean the Jets. I think there's a good chance they win this game. But in reality, the Seahawks should win. I'm not afraid of them, like you said. I think that their skill players are too good for the Jets to stop. But like I said,
if you're the Eagles, you're foaming at the mouth to get the Seahawks in the first round.
Yeah, at home. Like I'm just not taking a side in this one. I think there's a scenario where both teams win. Seahawks should win. Jets have a chance to win. A lot of good players.
Mackie, what do you think? Both of us are on the Jets to win this game. Seahawks, Jets, 2-point spread.
I think the Seahawks win. I said there's a way that the Jets win. I don't know if I'm on the Jets.
Jets are dead.
But do you think they win it all again this year?
I have to look at their schedule, but I mean, is Aaron Rodgers?
I think they win this game. I think they win this game. Like I said, the Jets don't know how to truly tank.
Watch Rodgers have a big game.
Literally, like 3 touchdowns, 300 yards.
They're like, he's back. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Mackie, let's hear your opinion before we jump off this game.
I'm just gonna go with the Seahawks on the money line. I don't give a shit about.
Not even think about it.
Don't bet this game. This is one you want to stay away from.
But the Seahawks are a playoff team. Big game for them.
This next one's kind of interesting as well. Titans at Commanders. Commanders now kind of struggling the past couple of weeks. Now minus 5.5 going up against Tennessee. Minus 250 on the money line. Titans 2-1 to win this game. Over under 44.5. Mackie, let me know what you're leaning here.
Commanders beat bad teams when they're not divisional. Obviously, Cowboys are a pretty bad team. They just lost to them. Pretty bad fashion, too. But the Commanders will get back on track here. I think Jaden Daniels has a pretty good game against weak defense. This is what they do. I mean, they're 7-5 for a reason. They have 7 wins against pretty shitty teams like the Titans. And, Terry McLaurin will have a big game. Brian Robinson will probably find the end zone. Jaden Daniels might even find the end zone. But Give me the Commanders -5.
I agree completely. You literally hit the nail right on the head. I was gonna say they struggle with two things: good teams and divisional games. Neither of which this is. Titans coming off a win. They're not going to stay in 2 games. Obviously, the big win against the Texans last week, that shows me a lot more bad about the Texans than good about the Titans. I'm going to take the Commanders here -5.5. This actually might be on my card. Tony Pollard, hell of a game last week. If anyone watched that Titans-Texans game,
good.
Okonkwo with the 70-yard touchdown.
Chigoziem Okonkwo.
I like that guy. I used to last year. Who was their quarterback?
I overdrafted him last year too.
Yeah, I think it was last year. I used to take him on a lot of first touchdowns when the Titans were still in primetime games. But obviously, when the Titans are in non-standalone games, I try to avoid their games. Pollard's been good. Maybe give me a Pollard touchdown in this game. I've taken him a few times this year. He's coming off a 100-yard and a touchdown performance last week against Houston, divisional matchup. But I like the Commanders -5.5. Ace, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. You got to think that the Commanders bounce back and have a good week.
They need it.
Their running back situation, when they need it, that's always like the worst time to get it.
Back-to-back home games.
Why did the Titans play competitive though? They just came off a win against the Houston Texans. They're feeling it right now. Calvin Ridley looks good. They're getting Akina Westbrook involved. Pollard, like you said, has been great. Yeah, I think 5.5 is a lot of points. This Commanders team likes to win tight games. I do think Jaden Daniels has a big statistical day, but I think the game's a little bit closer than we think.
Ace, who is it? You know, like depth names. Who was the linebacker on the Titans last year that signed a big deal that has 2 last names? He was like number 9 as a linebacker. He was a stud. I forget where he went. Try to look that up when we go in this next game because you'd recognize it. He had a great year last year. I'm trying to think of it. He always had a huge chain on under his shoulder pads. He was a dog. But we'll get in this next game. Another
Al-Shaair? No.
That's it. What is it?
Azeez Al-Shaair. He's on the Texans now.
Yeah, that's it. I was gonna say. I think he stayed in the division and went to the Texans.
Yeah, he's a captain of the Texans defense. I didn't look it up, but I didn't think it was him. Yeah.
I like him. I liked him a lot last year.
He was a big Niner guy.
So he what was he on the Titans for like a year or 2 years?
Yeah, he sat behind Greenlaw and
is that who it is? Al-Shaair?
Yeah, it's definitely Azeez Al-Shaair.
Okay. Speaking of the Texans, the next game, AFC South matchup, Texans heading to Jacksonville. Jacksonville, a 5-point home dog. Over under 43, Jags +185, Texans -225. Ace, I feel like you haven't started us out on a game yet. Let's hear it. Texans, Jags.
Yeah, I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars, is Trevor Lawrence even playing here this week? I got to look into that.
Yeah, he's practicing, but I'm not sure.
There's no reason to rush him, right?
Matter?
I don't think they're going to play him.
No Tank Bigsby?
Slated to practice Monday. I think they're going to go to Mac Jones or CJ Beathard here. I think that money is too invested in Trevor Lawrence for the lost season. I don't think they end up playing him this week.
They want Travis Hunter so bad.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. A Texans bounce back win here this week. We know they're going to take the division. There's no way they slip up here, and the Colts win against the Patriots this week and make it a 1-game play for the division. Do they? Is there a chance the Colts have life in the AFC South?
Could you imagine if the Texans don't win the division this year?
I have to imagine that Joe Mixon has a big game, though. He didn't find pay dirt last week, probably his worst game of the season, second worst. He had one other bad one early on. Nico Collins found the end zone. That was nice to see. I'd like to see a big CJ Stroud bounce back game. He's had a big sophomore slump. It's showing. Texans fans have been booing, saying they want the old Deshaun Watson back. I see a big Texans spot here to have a great day on offense and cover that spread.
Yeah, I'm going to say Texans -5. I think it's too easy, though. Mackie, what do you think?
I really don't like this Texans team. I think they're highly overrated.
I agree. Spot on. This is the sophomore slump that we haven't seen from a lot of quarterbacks that CJ Stroud is truly experiencing.
I just think he's not playing terrible. He's just
but compared to last year, you gotta look at it.
Definitely. And it was more towards the end of last year where everyone saw.
If you expected him to stay on that, I don't know what the word is.
Track.
Yeah, that
be a top 5 quarterback.
Dude, he ranked himself 3rd going into this season.
Why are you ranking yourself?
It's him and Micah Parsons on their podcast. All they're doing is giving people bulletin board material.
Yeah, they love to talk. But I'm not going to bet on this game because I absolutely despise the Jaguars. But Texans are not playing good football. They have a few sketchy wins to start the season. It's the only reason they're sitting 7-5 right now. Second time these teams are matching up. I'm going to go with the Jags +5 for sake of conversation, but you can expect.
So tough.
I know it's so gross. It's so ugly, but
Ew.
those are usually the sharper plays. But
Yeah.
you can also see a two
And
3 touchdown
5,
game.
I hate betting +5.
I know, it's so gross.
It's such an ugly number to have. You're like, they have to win or lose. They have to lose by 5 or win. You're like, when do they ever lose by 5?
Yeah, I just can't see the Jaguars winning this game.
This could end where this line pushes. 21-16.
27-22. 27-22.
How do you even get to 22?
Dude, there's so many ways. There's just like
there's so many ways.
5 field goals and a touchdown. 5 field goals and a touchdown.
Yeah, true. All right.
That's
would
That's
the easiest way to get to it. That's the easiest way to get to 22.
Yeah, but then you see like a mixed extra point. You see a safety like we saw last week. We saw CJ Stroud run out the back of the end zone, pull with Dan Orlovsky.
CJ Stroud have his Dan Orlovsky moment. Yeah. I'm so glad you just said that.
We all thought it.
But yeah,
I think the Texans got to get back on track though. Like, come on,
they need this game.
If they lose here, Mackie, that team we were talking about before, those Indianapolis Colts could make a push for the division.
Come on, not for the division. You could see a 9-8 team
back. Look at the schedule.
If the Colts beat the Patriots this week, they're 6-7, and if the Texans lose, they're 7-6.
Well, the Colts aren't going to beat the Patriots this week because the Colts suck.
I agree. I think I did say that.
Good man.
But I also think the Texans win this one. I'm going to say -5. I don't know if it's that easy though. We'll slide into the 4:00 slate. This is probably, I'd say, one of the worst games of the day. Rams at Saints. I like the Rams. I like watching the Rams. I hate the Saints. I hate anytime I have to watch the Saints. Probably won't watch this one. Rams -3, over under 48.5. Rams -155, +130 for the Saints. Rams need this if they want to stay alive in the wild card picture. I'm going to take the Rams -3.
Yeah, I'll take the Rams as well. I like the over as well. I think the Rams have a pretty atrocious defense, but the offense keeps up.
I like Jared Verse. And what's the other linebacker for them? Number 0.
I thought Jared Verse was
You would
number
know
0.
that again.
For which team?
For the Rams, number 0, the linebacker.
Verse
The
was
one who's
0.
getting all the tackles now.
Yeah,
The one who's
he's a
been there
dog.
since the
I can't remember his name. He's been there for a while now, right?
He's a dog. I like him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Rams are actually a pretty good team when you look at the rest of the conference.
I picked them to win that division. They're not going to win the division, but I'd like them to make the playoffs because they're not a team you'd want to see as a wild card team in my opinion.
Because of Matt Stafford, because of Sean McVay, because of Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, they have top end talent, but that defense is so weak. I mean, they're literally Swiss cheese.
weak, dude. So bad.
like they're like one of the worst defenses in the league, and people were talking up their defense going into Sunday Night Football last week, and it made no sense to me. And then it showed that they're not anything to worry about. Yeah, I'm on the Rams this week. I think that
I overthought that game against the Eagles. I wanted to take Eagles. I just wanted to take the Eagles on the money line. I didn't want to have to worry about the spread. I think you could have got it similar to what I did with the Ravens. I just took the money line -140. I was like, I'll lay this juice. This is a good team. I'm comfortable with it. I should have did it with the Eagles, but obviously that's why I did it with the Ravens on Monday night, and it worked out for me. But next game, NFC South matchup: Bucks at Panthers. Panthers +6 at home, over under 46.5. Panthers +210 on the money line. Bucks -275. Mackie, is there anything you'd like to say to Bryce Young?
Yeah, kind of. I think he's playing great football. Maybe he needed to be sat.
I think it was good for him. Just like Anthony Richardson. Sometimes you need to sit down.
It was definitely good for him, but I mean, this is a completely different quarterback that we're watching, and I'm not saying he's jaw dropping right now, but he's just making
exactly.
I'm he's keeping them in the game against the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's playing good football. I'm going to give him his flowers. He's definitely not as bad as he used to be, but it doesn't change the fact that my opinion on him prior was correct. He was the worst quarterback in football. He's just playing better now, so good for him. But
we did say when me and Ace said we'd take Bryce Young, it was going forward.
Yeah, but that next fiscal year, it was not good.
Year, like we're in fucking corporate America.
Well, you know what I mean. The next 12 months. The next 12 months were not very good for Bryce Young.
I know you mean.
What a fiscal year by Bryce Young.
He did get benched in that time too. So I see what you mean.
He really picked it up in Q4. I mean, that's what he's doing right now.
Fuck up.
But yeah, I mean, he's throwing good footballs. I like the young guys they have around them too. They have a really good running game. Chuba Hubbard got that big deal. He's really good. Jonathan Brooks allegedly coming back. They got Leggett, Coker, Jatavian Sanders. I think he got hurt, but yeah, I mean, there's not much else around him. I think Bryce Young will have a place to stay. He's going to be that quarterback for a while.
His Q4 sales are through the roof.
Yeah,
they really are, dude.
They're keeping him around
compared to his Q1 through 3. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Promote the man.
Employee of the month.
He's just trying to get his Christmas bonus. I'm gonna take the Panthers +6. I don't like it, but they've been a team that hang in these games. I'm gonna take the Panthers.
Yeah, I'll ride that with you. +6, but I mean, Bucks should win this game, and I'm
They're not gonna win.
No, I got the Bucks. I think the Bucks are gonna push for this division, though.
Yeah, they're exactly.
Yeah,
Bucks
I mean, they're
win.
only game
I
out
think
right
Panthers
now.
cover.
Oh, you want the Panthers to cover? I don't know though. Mike Evans didn't find the end zone last week, Huff. I know you were on that. He didn't play many snaps, but I think he does this week.
I lost on Thursday night with the Steelers, but that was the only play I lost on Sunday was Evans.
What about the fact that their running game looks great too? Bucky Irving and Rashad White both playing great football.
What about on the other side of the ball? Chuba Hubbard.
I talked about that. He got the money. He deserves it. But Vita Vea is one of the toughest running guys to go against. We saw him last week pushing people over, getting to the quarterback. That defense, I trust this Bucs team. Baker's got that swagger. I don't blame you if you go with that plus play. For
I might tease the Panthers. That's what I might officially do.
Yeah, take a lot of points, but I think this Bucs team's really good. We've seen them put up crooked numbers. Is the only reason that scares me, Huff. Think about the time that they were playing those Saints and they came out of nowhere and put up like 60 in a losing effort to the Falcons.
Panthers aren't hanging around in that.
This Bucs team's gonna win the division. Give me the Bucs this week to win. Give me the Falcons to lose this week, and we're gonna see Baker Mayfield bring all that swag and aura. Look at him running around doing his things to the playoffs this year and win that NFC South once again.
He's a hard man to hate.
I think that's and that's crazy because like I loved Baker at Oklahoma. Got drafted by the Browns. I had to hate him.
Yeah.
Beat us in the playoffs. Had to hate him even more. Goes to Carolina. I was like, this would be sweet if he makes Carolina good. It just didn't work out there. That's a corrupt organization.
LA
was good for LA for a couple games. Now he's found a true home in Tampa.
That revived his career.
Yeah. It was like a fourth quarter where he made like a fourth quarter game-winning drive and he dropped a dime into the bread basket.
He wore the most random number for the Rams. I think it was like 17 too. It just did not look right on him, but it was like he's good.
It literally got him a shot as a starting quarterback for the Bucs, and he took advantage of it and ran with it. And you just can't.
And then he won a playoff game the first year with the Bucs.
Yeah, and then he signed a massive extension, and now he's doing good things. Good for him.
Next game, probably the game of the day. This is definitely the game of the day. Eagles at Ravens. Ravens 3-point favorite. Over under 51. Ravens -155. Eagles +130.
I don't mind fading the Ravens in this spot.
I'm going to take the Eagles. I'm going to take the Eagles.
It's a good game.
Eagles are too good right now. If anyone's going to slow them down, it probably will be the Ravens. But God, you cannot bet against this team. Underdog, 3-point underdogs.
How many points are they going to be in this game?
Yeah, it'll
over 51.
It's an over game. Saquon Barkley should get Ace. You should have took that total yards last game.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
Alternate 200 plus.
Yeah, I mean, he hit that easily. He got the ball the whole game. I figured against that defense, though, he had to have.
I mean, anytime you get two 70-yard touchdowns, that's like that'll do it right there.
The amount of times he gets the ball.
That could have been his only two plays, and you would have hit by 40 yards.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I think this has potential for game of the week. I think you can take both running backs for their teams to get in the end zone. Derrick Henry didn't get in last week, so we got to assume he gets them this week. Lamar, Huff, I saw that post today. He has 30 touchdowns, 3 picks. The 3 picks he has this year shouldn't have been picks either.
What were they?
I didn't. Go look at it on Instagram. One of them hit Mark Andrews right in the hands, popped off his hands, went into someone else. Another one went through Justice Hill's hands. The other one is against the Steelers where the guy caught it and your guy
was ridiculous. The Mark Andrews
ripped it out of the guy's hands.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews one was kind of his fault. Obviously not all on him, but the other two were just ridiculously
brutal
plays.
Yeah. I remember the one
drops that we watched too in the Ravens games where he hit someone wide open and just clangs off the hands. You're like, wow.
I'm going to take the Eagles to get to 10-2. I'll take the Eagles +3, but I think they win this game.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, you guys. I figured you guys would be anti. Ravens.
I'm not anti-Ravens. I'm not Mackie. I'm not Mackie.
Yeah, you took them last week. You and Haas taking each other's teams. At least they didn't let you down.
Yeah.
But that'll be a great game.
Yeah, next game. This would be the preseason. This looked like a great game. 49ers at Bills. Bills -7. Over under 45. Bills -300 on the money line. 49ers +240. This might be my teaser. Panthers +6. Bills -6. Let me see what I can work with here. You guys can keep going on your game. I'll get
12 and basically money line.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, the Niners are in really bad shape. Brandon Allen's going to be starting this game. You're going to see 2 quarterbacks.
How long is Purdy out for?
I don't know, but
too long. They're not gonna. They might have missed the playoffs, dude.
Both quarterbacks in this game are Allen, number 17, and named Allen.
That's pretty cool. One of them's good. Fun fact.
One of them's good. One of them's not a top 32 starter in the NFL.
With that being said, Bills by 30 probably. I'm just gonna take a -6. You'll probably see this one on my card.
Yeah,
Ace,
I like that. I like that.
Will you back these 49ers yet again?
No, probably not this week. It's gonna be crazy value. They just need to get their boy Brock Purdy back for it to have any chance. It's tough without him. I mean, hey, we'll see. They have a good enough roster.
That's Sunday Night Football too.
Is Christian McCaffrey ever gonna get into the end zone this season?
No, I think he sucks, dude.
That's crazy.
He's washed up.
I have him on my fantasy team. I'm so pissed I drafted him.
He got married.
Yeah, dude, he sucks. He should fucking figure it out. This Monday night game is pretty not great, but I like the Broncos. So this Monday night game, Browns. I like Jameis, so I gotta give Jameis his flowers.
Yeah, you spoke his win into existence.
Jameis and the Browns heading to Bo Nix and the Broncos. Broncos 5.5 again, Mackie, on the spread, over under 42. Broncos -250, Browns +200. I'm going to go with these Broncos. I'm going to keep rolling with these Broncos.
-5 is the perfect number. You're going to see the Browns in the 1 yard line down 10 and with like a minute left, and they're not going to get in. But
that Broncos defense will stop you in the red zone. Give me the Broncos -5.5.
Yeah, Mile High City
Sutton touchdown.
Agreed. I'm with you.
Sutton's been really good. I'm
good. He was good with Russ. He's just really good.
Yeah, I'm on the Chargers here this week, though. I think that
Chargers.
Oh, they're not playing each other this week, are they?
Browns.
Are you on the Chargers?
We were all on the Chargers. That was the first 1 o'clock.
I know. I'm very high on these Chargers. You want to know why? I'm just thinking about their division and how they match up against each other. I just think that the Chargers are the team that's going to make the playoffs of those two. But talking about the Browns and the Broncos, I think the Broncos do win this game here this week. Their team's too good. The defense is too good for Jameis Winston to do anything.
He's probably to throw a pick.
I love him to throw a pick this week. That's probably one of my favorite plays. Cortland Sutton's been on fire, like you said. Bo Nix, he's looking like the Rookie of the Year front runner now, maybe.
I mean, he's not technically the betting front runner, but he's definitely sliding towards the favorite. Jaden Daniels' odds have been going up. Bo Nix been going down. Mackie, I will say this. I don't know if you're still there. Your fantasy team, you picked up Bo Nix in fantasy. I think that was a hell of a stream for you.
I grabbed him too. I grabbed him recently.
Yeah, he's not scared to run it in. I love watching him play. I was, which is weird because obviously I was a Broncos guy for the past 2 years. I've just followed Russ.
Mm-hmm.
Never really cared for the Broncos. Once he left, I was like, all right, cool. I don't have to be a Broncos fan anymore. Then I was like, wait, I kind of fucking really like this guy, Bo Nix, and they're fun to watch. 7-5. There's a good chance they're 8-5 after this game. They're going to be a playoff team.
Yeah, I think so too.
Are they here? Let me ask you this: are the Broncos better than, records aside? Like act like it's week one.
I know. There's one team you should say to me, and I'm not going to give you the answer. You don't want to hear.
I'm not going to say the Steelers. Are they better than the Dolphins?
Yeah, in Denver at least.
Yeah, that's a who's home. That's a who's home situation. Are they better than
the Chargers? No.
I think they're better than I don't know. I think I kind of agree with you. I don't think they're better than the Chargers.
But would I be shocked?
Would I be shocked if they beat the Chargers? Absolutely not.
No, they're about the same team too. They're really the same.
As a divisional matchup, I'm probably going to take whichever team's the underdog in that game.
Yeah, I might not even touch it. Are they better than the Bengals? The Bengals are that wild card team that like has a.
I think they're better than the Bengals. They have a 10 times better defense.
You guys were so high on these Bengals coming in though.
But you got to understand, I'm a Steeler fan, so like I love seeing the Bengals fall.
I know, but are they good? Because you know how low I am on the Bengals. I feel like I've been talking about them up this week more than.
Here's what I'll say about the Bengals: Chase Brown's better than you give him credit for.
I think he's pretty good.
They don't have T. Higgins, or haven't really had a full T. Higgins all year. It would help. I would say it would definitely help. Gesicki's been a decent tight end option, fill in for them, a good free agent signing. They have a terrible offensive line and a terrible defense.
Hendrickson, though, the leading sack getter.
2 ways that good teams find ways to win.
Yeah, when it matters. But the thing is, Joe Burrow, like, does he have that effect? How good of a quarterback is he? I think he's playing. If he
loses to the Steelers this week, Bengals are done.
Yeah, I agree. They have to win out, and they could, though. That's the thing. The Broncos, that's a tough thing, though. If they played in the game, though, you wouldn't be shocked if Joe Burrow single-handedly beat the Broncos. I wouldn't either. But I think the Broncos are a better team. Yeah.
Just put it this way: look what Burrow did against the Chargers 2 weeks ago on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Do you think he could do that same thing in Denver, not in a dome where it's likely going to be snowing?
I think he could, though. I think
I
he
don't
actually
even think
could.
the two teams play each other, but that'd be a fun matchup.
I think he could, actually. I really do. I think that the Bengals have that X factor with Joe Burrow to win any game, but I think the Broncos and Chargers are a better team.
Javonte, Courtland Sutton. I love a lot of those pieces in Denver.
Yeah, I like the coach too. I like the defense. Defense wins championships.
I like Sean Payton now that he doesn't have to act like he he hates Russell Wilson, but
yeah, we'll see.
I don't know what I'm trying to say there.
We'll
He's
see.
got his guy, and he's a better coach now that he has his guy.
Yeah, give me the Broncos here this week over the Browns for sure.
Yeah, I agree. That's gonna do it for the NFL Week 13 slate. We may not be going live Thursday for Thanksgiving. Ace, if you can confirm for that, I'm in for that.
We should be. Yeah, I think me, you, and Hoss will be here.
Yeah. So Thursday around 9:30 a.m. we're gonna be going live to go through those 3 games on the slate for Thanksgiving. My dog is coming in to tell me it's time to stop recording. Thursday live stream, Thanksgiving Day, 3 games. Make sure you stay tuned for that. We'll post some on our social media if anything changes. As always, make sure you're following us. HitTheBooks.pod on Instagram. HitTheBooks_pod on Twitter. Turn on those post notifications. Follow, like, share, subscribe. We appreciate all the support. Been going crazy on some of these Instagram posts we've been getting, so really appreciate that. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys Thursday for Thanksgiving. And if not, have a happy Thanksgiving, and let's watch some football, eat some good food, and we'll see you Sunday for our official live stream, just in case we don't go live on Thursday. But plan for Thursday, 9:30 a.m.
We'll see you Thursday.